Good afternoon. My name is Pamela. As many of you know, I'm the Director of Music here at Trinity. And it's an honor and a pleasure to be back here with you again today. The church looks absolutely beautiful today. It's a gorgeous day outside, full of sun, and I hope that some of you are able to get in midweek when there's not a full congregation to feel and to see and to share in the beauty of the church in this difficult time. I'm excited about our music today because hopefully we're going to have at session's end 3 strong, powerful, wondrous, uplifting hymns all around this, centered around the text and the paraphrased text of Psalm 23. And I began this session today with a song called The Bird Song that is a vocal piece, and in this case for voice and piano. I was the singer and the pianist, so thank you for supporting that. We are making do in COVID. But I wanted to share that with you because it's such a beautiful rendition of the 23rd Psalm. And here again, another paraphrased version, but very close. And Ralph Vaughan Williams is just such an amazing composer. And I hope you enjoyed just listening to that piece. And now, let's jump right in and see what you remember of number 664. We're working in our, here it is, fabulous hymnal, the Hymnal 1982, that was put together to accompany the 1979 Common Book of Prayer. And I'm really enjoying having this opportunity to take the time to explore some of these hymns because there are so many and there's so much for us to learn. And even though we also will do more contemporary music from our supplemental issues, I really want to, sink our teeth into the meat and potatoes of this glorious hymn book. And after today, we'll have, a really nice, wonderful chunk that we have prepared in honor of Psalm 23. So let's go to number 664 now. And so we will be singing straight through. We're just going to start it off with an intro. Most singers prefer having a vocal warm-up. If that's something you would like me to concentrate on at some point, or anything that you would like to let me know what you'd like to hear or perhaps become a part of, just send me an email, Pamela@trinityfishkill.org, and let me know. We're going to just jump right into this, and hopefully we'll warm up as we go, because we have, I'd like to get this out there today. We have much to accomplish. Okay, so this is number 664. Remember this and hang in there with this particular song. We're going to move right along now to number 645. 645. And in this beloved rendition of Psalm 23. You'll recall from our work last session that very often we have a composer of the text and a composer of the music. And two separate people. And in this instance, we have the text, a paraphrased text, put forth by Sir Henry Williams Baker. Now, he was born in 1821, and he was a priest and a baron and an editor for a very significant body of work in that time period called Hymns Ancient and Modern, which was, probably similar to their hymn book version, published in 1861. Now, he contributed many original hymns himself, and he was known for doing many translations of Latin chants and hymns, which we'll be able to take a look at that in the next song that we're working on. But in this particular piece, he has set up this arrangement of hymns with music by St. Columbia, which we'll talk about in a minute. I just want to share a little a personal thing with you about Sir Henry Williams Baker. On his deathbed, his last words were verse number 3 from this beloved rendition of the King of Love. And these were his last words: "Perverse and foolish oft I strayed, but yet in love he sought me, and on his shoulder gently laid, and home rejoicing brought me." So isn't it fascinating that his last words, having lived the devoted life and yet troubled life and complex life of the balance between priesthood and baronhood, that this is what he would choose to say: "Perverse and foolish oft I strayed, but yet in love he sought me, and on his shoulder gently laid, and home rejoicing brought me." Wow. So I look so forward to putting that to this beautiful text today, that the music is an Irish melody attributed to St. Columbia, who was an Irish monk and an abbot known for spreading Christianity throughout Scotland. And as an aside about St. Columbia, legend has it he was the first person to spot the Loch Ness Monster, which is fun. And also, if you would just take a look on this page, you'll see some numbers opposite the words and the music, who's attributed to who's done the word and the music. But you'll see some numbers. First of all, you'll see that's quarter equals 100 is the metronomic marking, or the tempo marking. A quarter note equals 100. But I want you to look underneath there, more importantly, for our discovery of hymnody and how it is written. This 8787 refers to the metric labeling of the text, and the numbers stand for syllables. So the syllabic configuration of this hymn is 8 syllables, 7 syllables, 8 syllables, 7 syllables, which is here again what's so absolutely remarkable and so fulfilling in this piece. It's a stretched out form of similar to haiku, that if you count out, for example, in verse 1, "The King of Love, my shepherd is," there's your 8. And then, "whose goodness fails me never." So if you wanted to count through all of these, you'll find that here, blending into this simple Irish melody, lilting, beautiful Irish melody, is this matching poetic 8-7-8-7 formula. I mean, it's just such a perfect blend and marriage of, the mathematical and the melodic. It's just spectacular. So I know some of you know this, so we'll just go through the melody one time. Here again, with this song in your hymn book, if you're following along the words, you start with number 1 and follow along and go down to the second line, number 2, and the next line, number 3, and so on. Okay, and so this was what we're going now. The King of Love, my shepherd is, whose goodness will written. So let's start now from the beginning, and because of time, we're just going to go through all 6 verses because of this simple little tune, and let's see if we can work that out. These just overwhelm me. I just cannot even handle how much beauty, inspiration, artistic merit, and harmonious uplifting of spirit comes from these incredible pieces of music. And how, just like so many other things in society right now, how the very things from the past that have nourished us, nurtured us, sorry, but the only analogy I can think of is fine wine, something that is fermented and becomes more than what it is. And that's very much the state of these hymns, and now how so often the hymn books are getting just, pushed down underneath the seats and hardly opened, and this is what we have. This is the musical nutrition and nourishment that we have to help us get through times like this, even more important now than in when times are not as challenging. So, my opinion. Okay, so let's go on now to this number 646. This one may not be so familiar to some of you, and perhaps some of you even more familiar. This is a real oldie but goodie. This is number 646, and you'll see the text. This is also done by Sir Henry Williams Baker, this text. You'll see it's the same text, but a different tune. And as I was explaining, that this often happens with the hymns, is that the tunes will remain the same, and several paraphrased texts are put to these tunes, and the reverse is true, where the same tune is used for several texts, and then the reverse, that the same text is used with several different tunes. And of course, that's what we're working on today. I look forward in the future to showing you, taking a tune, a melody, and showing you the different hymns that work with that melody for different times of the year and different celebrations. Now, in this arrangement, this is the first piece of music you've received that's not just showing you the melody. And this may seem kind of complicated. I think this is where we may lose some people in terms of following the music. But in this configuration, you start with number 1, and the melody is written on the top notes of number 1. Now, if you look above that to number 6, you'll see where it says descant. And what that's telling you is on this last verse, number 6, you can add this glorious descant. For today, we'll leave it go, but I would like to do a session on descants as well, and we'll include this one at that point. It's tricky. It's written for the higher voices, sopranos or tenors or children, to go up and rise above all the melody. And then what you see here are the harmonies that sit underneath the melody. And of course, it's a glorious day when we'll be able to add the harmonies back with choir. But now, during COVID time, we're just really taking advantage of this context to work on the melody. So the melody now is number 1, the top line of the second grouping down. Okay? And since you know these words, we're not going to read through them now, but this is called sight reading, where you just sing along. So if you're comfortable doing that, sing along with me on this first verse, and if not, just listen and we'll do it again. I didn't explain to you about who wrote the music to this. And this tune is attributed to John Bacchus Dykes, who was also born in 1823, so in the 1800s. And he was known as well as the King of Love for taking melodies and with Latin text, so Latin composed communions, antiphons, melodies that have a Latin text, and then, taking the, translating the Latin into English. And so that's what he's done here with this paraphrased text of Henry William Baker, but lining it up with the tune of Dominus Regit Me. And we have more to come with Latin. Latin is very important. I know some people are not a big fan, but it's nice to know from whence you've come. And there is just some beautiful music that our hymn book has in Latin and that I'd like to share with you. But in this case, just to know that this is a Latin chant, actually, communion chant, that he transfigured it to fit with this text. Okay, so here we go, the King of Love. And then after that, I'm going to keep going. The King of Hello everyone, this is Pamela. Well, you caught me. This beautiful red door that you're seeing is the front door to St. John's Episcopal in Kingston. And you've caught me participating in one of my favorite pastimes, which is checking out beautiful old churches. And I just was actually here checking out this beautiful church, which some of you have probably been in, when Dave texted me that the end of the video that we made with our beautiful music cut off. So this is your ending, and I think it's a glorious, beautiful ending. Let's get their stained glass in here. And I just want to say, I hope you enjoy living into the music of the 23rd Psalm that we've discovered and worked on, and that you have a great week, that you will be well and sustained, and thank you for all that you are bringing as far as keeping our singing alive. While we have to keep it away from closed indoor spaces, except of course your own. And so yes, so be well, take care, blessings.